Look at the very start of almost any piece of music, just after the clef, and you will find a small cluster of sharps or flats. Most people glance past it and head straight for the notes. That is a mistake, because that little cluster is the single most powerful instruction on the whole page. Those marks are not decoration, and they are not played as a chord. They are a standing order. One sharp sitting on the top F line means that every single F in the entire piece is played as F sharp, from the first bar to the very last, and nobody ever writes a sharp next to a note again. The page looks clean, but it is secretly bent. By the end of this, you will glance at that cluster and name the key in about 2 seconds. Let me show you exactly how to read it. Start with the simplest case. Here is the staff, and here is a key signature with just one sharp, sitting on the top F line. Watch what it does. Later in the music a plain F note head appears, with no sharp written anywhere near it. But because of the signature, you do not play a white key F. You play the black key, F sharp. And the next F is also F sharp. And the one after that. The signature did the work in advance, once, for all of them. This is the whole idea of a key signature. It sets a rule at the front, and that rule holds for every matching note until the piece ends. You read a plain note, your hand plays the altered pitch. So the very first job, before you read a single bar of melody, is to look at that cluster and know which letters are bent. Get that, and everything else follows. Now here is something that makes reading them far easier. The sharps are never thrown on at random. They are added in one fixed order that never changes. The order is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. The first sharp is always F sharp. Always. If a signature has 2 sharps, they are F sharp and C sharp, in that order. 3 sharps, and you add G sharp. 4, and D sharp joins. They pile up in that exact sequence, every time, and each sharp sits in its own fixed spot on the staff. The pattern on the page zigzags, high, then low, then high again, so the shape itself becomes familiar. The practical payoff is huge. A sharp signature is really just a count. If you see 3 sharps, you instantly know they are F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp, without reading them one by one, because the order is locked and you have memorized the list. Count the sharps, and you know their names. The flats work the same way, with one neat twist. Their order is that same list read backwards. Flats go B, E, A, D, G, C, F. The first flat is always B flat. 2 flats are B flat and E flat. 3 flats at A flat. For flats bring in D flat. So sharps run F, C, G, D, A, E, B going forward, and flats run B, E, A, D, G, C, F going back. It is genuinely one list, read in 2 directions, so learn it once and you own both. And there is a lovely symmetry hiding in there. The first sharp is F. The last flat is also F. The first flat is B, and the last sharp is B. The 2 orders are mirror images of each other, front to back. If you can recite F, C, G, D, A, E, B, you can recite the flats just by saying it in reverse. Now for the trick everyone actually wants, naming the key from a sharp signature, at a glance. The rule is one short sentence. Find the last sharp on the right, and step up 1 letter. That is the whole thing. Let me prove it. Take a signature with 1 sharp. The last sharp, the only sharp, is F sharp. Step up 1 semitone from F sharp, and you land on G. So the key is G major. Listen to the G major scale. Now take 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. The last one on the right is C sharp. Step up from C sharp, and you reach D. The key is D major. Hear the D major scale. 1 more, 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. The last is G sharp. Step up, and you land on A. So 3 sharps is the key of A major. Hear that scale too. In every case the last sharp sits exactly 1 semitone below the name of the key. Find it, step up, done. Flat keys have an even faster trick, and once you see it you will never forget it. For 2 flats or more, the second to last flat is the name of the key. Read straight off the page. No stepping, no counting up. You just point at it. Take 2 flats, B flat and E flat. The second to last flat is B flat, so the key is B flat major. Hear it. Take 3 flats, B flat, E flat, and A flat. The second to last is E flat, so the key is E flat major. Listen. Take 4 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. The second to last is A flat, so the key is A flat major. The flat just to the left of the last one literally spells the key. There is one exception you simply memorize, because there is no second to last flat to point at. A single flat, B flat alone, is the key of F major. And no sharps and no flats at all is the key of C major, the one with all white keys. So why bother with any of this? Why not just write the sharps and flats next to the notes when you need them? Picture a piece in a sharp-heavy key, written with no signature. Almost every note in it is bent, so you would have to draw a sharp next to nearly every note, bar after bar after bar. The page becomes a thicket of accidentals, dense and tiring, and your eye has to check each one. Now add a key signature. The rule is stated once, up at the front, and the entire rest of the page clears. The same music turns into plain, clean note heads on plain, clean lines. One small cluster of 3 or 4 symbols at the start replaces thousands of accidentals spread across the whole piece. That is not a small convenience. It is the reason key signatures exist, and it is why every printed score uses them. Let me put the whole method to work on 2 short lines of music. First line is a sharp key. Count the sharps in the signature, there are 2 of them, F sharp and C sharp. Apply the rule. The last sharp is C sharp, step up 1 letter, and the key is D major. You name it before you play a single note, then you hear the scale to confirm. Second line is a flat key. Count the flats, there are 3, B flat, E flat, and A flat. Apply the flat rule. The second to last flat is E flat, so the key is E flat major. Name it first, then hear it. Notice what just happened. You named both keys correctly without reading a single note of the actual melody. The signature alone told you everything about which notes are in play. So here is the entire method in one breath. Look at the front of the line, just after the clef. Count the sharps or flats. If they are sharps, take the last one on the right and step up a letter, and that is your key. If they are flats, just read off the second to last one, and that is your key. One flat on its own is F major, and no marks at all is C major. That is everything. Run it a few times, on real music, and naming a key stops being a puzzle and becomes a reflex you do in a couple of seconds. But notice that the signature only sets the default. A piece can still bend one single note in the middle of a bar, away from what the signature says, just for a moment. That single mark is called an accidental, and it carries its own rule about how long it lasts. That is exactly where we go next.